Destiny's hands gripped the steering wheel as she drove down the quiet street. It was almost midnight, and she was tired from her 12-hour shift at the hospital. Her scrubs were still on, and all she wanted was to get home, take a hot shower, and sleep. The streets were empty except for a few cars here and there. She turned on her music, something soft to help her relax after the long day. Then she saw the red and blue lights in her rearview mirror. Her heart sank. She hadn't been speeding. She knew she hadn't done anything wrong. But still, those lights made her nervous. Every black person knew that feeling. That moment when you see a police car behind you and your whole body tenses up, no matter how innocent you are. She pulled over to the side of the road and turned off her music. She put both hands on the steering wheel where they could be seen. She had learned this from her father when she was 16 and first started driving. Keep your hands visible, he had told her. Don't make any sudden moves. Be polite, even if they're not. She had rolled her eyes back then, thinking he was being dramatic. Now at 24, she understood exactly what he meant. The officer took his time getting out of his car. Destiny watched him in her side mirror. He was a white man, probably in his 40s, with a thick build and a stern face. He walked slowly toward her car, his hand resting on his belt near his weapon. Even though she had done nothing wrong, Destiny felt her palms start to sweat. He tapped on her window with his flashlight, even though she already had it rolled down. License and registration, he said. His voice was cold and unfriendly. He didn't say good evening. He didn't explain why he pulled her over. Just those 3 words, like an order. Good evening, officer, Destiny said politely. May I ask why you pulled me over? She kept her voice steady and calm, even though her heart was racing. The officer shined his flashlight directly in her face, making her squint. I'll ask the questions here. License and registration. Now. Destiny reached slowly for her purse, announcing what she was doing. I'm reaching for my purse now. It's on the passenger seat. She had seen too many videos of traffic stops gone wrong. She knew one wrong move could be dangerous. As she handed him her documents, she noticed the small camera clipped to his uniform vest. A Bodycam. At least everything would be recorded, she thought. That made her feel a little safer. The officer looked at her license with a frown. Destiny Johnson, he read out loud, saying her name like it tasted bad in his mouth. This your car? Yes, sir, she answered. You sure about that? He looked at her with suspicion in his eyes. This is a nice car for someone from your neighborhood. Destiny felt anger rise in her chest, but she pushed it down. She knew what he was implying. Yes, sir, it's my car. I work as a nurse at Memorial Hospital. I just got off my shift. The officer walked around her car slowly, shining his flashlight inside. A nurse, huh? He didn't sound like he believed her. Stay in the car. He went back to his patrol car, and Destiny sat there waiting. 5 minutes passed, then 10. She checked the time on her phone. What was taking so long? Her record was clean. She had never even gotten a speeding ticket. When he finally came back, he had another officer with him. The second officer was younger and looked less comfortable with the situation. Step out of the vehicle, the first officer ordered. Why? Destiny asked. What did I do wrong? I said step out of the vehicle. Don't make me ask again. Destiny's hands were shaking now, but she did as she was told. She got out of the car slowly, making sure to keep her movements calm and predictable. You failed to use your turn signal back there, the officer said. That's a violation. Destiny's mind raced back. She had used her turn signal. She was always careful about that. But she knew better than to argue. I'm sorry, officer. I thought I did. Well, you didn't, he said firmly. And now I need to search your vehicle. Search my car? For a turn signal? Destiny couldn't believe what she was hearing. Don't you need my permission for that? The officer stepped closer to her, using his height to intimidate her. I have probable cause. I smell marijuana. That's not true, Destiny said, her voice getting stronger despite her fear. I don't smoke anything. I'm a nurse. I get drug tested regularly for my job. Are you calling me a liar? The officer's face was getting red now. The younger officer shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. Destiny realized he wasn't going to help her. I'm not calling you anything, officer, Destiny said carefully. I'm just saying there's no marijuana in my car because I don't use drugs. We'll see about that. The officer moved toward her car. Your body cam is recording all of this, right? Destiny asked, looking directly at the camera on his chest. The officer smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. "Oh yes, everything's being recorded. Every single thing." He seemed pleased about that, like the camera was his protection, not hers. He started searching her car, roughly pulling things out. Her gym bag was thrown on the ground, her work papers scattered on the sidewalk. He opened her glove compartment and dumped everything out. The younger officer watched but didn't participate in the search. Destiny stood there on the side of the road in her scrubs, watching a police officer tear through her car for no reason. She felt humiliated, angry, scared. But mostly she felt determined. This wasn't right, and she wasn't going to let it go. She pulled out her phone and started recording. "I'm documenting this," she said clearly. The officer spun around. "Put that phone away right now." "I have the right to record," Destiny said, her voice shaking but firm. "Put it away or I'll arrest you for interfering with police business." Destiny knew he could make her life much worse if she didn't comply. Slowly she put her phone in her pocket. But she had already recorded enough. And more importantly, his body cam had recorded everything. Every word. Every action. The officer didn't find anything in her car because there was nothing to find. After 30 minutes of searching and humiliation, he finally let her go with a warning for the turn signal she knew she had used. As she drove away, Destiny looked at the clock. It was almost 1 in the morning. She was exhausted, angry, and shaken. But she was also determined. She pulled over a few blocks away and wrote down everything she could remember. The officer's badge number, the time, every detail of what had happened. She wasn't going to let this go. Not this time. When Destiny finally got home that night, she couldn't sleep. She kept replaying everything in her mind. The way the officer had looked at her with such disgust. The way he had searched her car like she was a criminal. The way he had accused her of having drugs when she had never touched them in her life. She sat at her kitchen table and wrote down every single detail she could remember. She wrote down what time she was pulled over. She wrote down the officer's badge number, which she had memorized. She wrote down exactly what he said to her and how he said it. She wrote down how the younger officer just stood there and did nothing. The next morning, Destiny was still angry. She had barely slept for 2 hours. She called her best friend Maya before going to work. "Girl, you need to report this," Maya said immediately after hearing the story. "That's not okay. That's racial profiling." "I know," Destiny said. "But what good will it do? You know how these things go. They'll investigate themselves and find nothing wrong." "You have to try," Maya insisted. "If you don't, he'll keep doing this to other people." "You said his body cam was on, right? That means there's proof." Maya was right. Destiny knew she had to do something. She couldn't just let this go, even if it seemed hopeless. That afternoon, after her shift at the hospital, Destiny drove to the police station. Her stomach was in knots as she walked through the doors. She had never filed a complaint against police before. She wasn't sure what to expect. The officer at the front desk looked bored. "Can I help you?" he asked without much interest. "I'd like to file a complaint about an officer," Destiny said, trying to sound confident. The desk officer's expression changed slightly. He looked at her more carefully now. "What kind of complaint?" "I was pulled over last night and the officer treated me unfairly. He searched my car without real cause and made inappropriate comments." The desk officer sighed like this was an inconvenience. "Hold on." He made a phone call and a few minutes later another officer came out. This one was older with gray hair and tired eyes. "I'm Sergeant Williams," he said. "You want to make a complaint?" Destiny followed him to a small office. The sergeant sat down and pulled out some forms. "Okay, tell me what happened." Destiny went through the whole story again. She told him about the traffic stop, the accusations, the search. She mentioned how the officer had acted like she didn't deserve to own a nice car. She talked about how uncomfortable and scared she had felt. Sergeant Williams wrote things down, but his face showed doubt. When Destiny finished, he put down his pen and looked at her. "Miss Johnson," he said slowly, "are you sure you're not misunderstanding the situation? Officers have the right to search vehicles if they have probable cause." "But he lied about smelling marijuana," Destiny said, feeling her frustration grow. "I don't use drugs." "He made that up." "That's a serious accusation," the sergeant said. "You're saying the officer lied in his report?" "I'm saying he made up a reason to search my car because of what I looked like and where I'm from." The sergeant leaned back in his chair. The officer in question has been with the department for 15 years. He has a good record. Are you absolutely sure you want to file this complaint? Once you do, there's no taking it back. Destiny felt like he was trying to discourage her. Yes, I'm sure. I want to file the complaint. And I want a copy of the body cam footage from the stop. Body cam footage? The sergeant frowned. That requires a public records request. It takes time to process. How long? Could be up to 30 days. 30 days? Destiny couldn't believe it. Why so long? That's the policy. We have to review the footage, redact certain parts, prepare it properly. It takes time. Destiny felt defeated but tried not to show it. Fine. I'll submit a public records request. How do I do that? The sergeant handed her more forms. Fill these out. There's a processing fee of $50. $50 just to see the video? That's the fee. Destiny took the forms. She wasn't going to let the fee stop her. She filled everything out right there, making sure every detail was correct. She wrote down exactly what footage she wanted and from what time period. Over the next few days, Destiny couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. She went to work, took care of her patients, came home. But her mind was always on that traffic stop. She started noticing how police cars made her anxious now. Every time she saw one, her heart would race. She talked to her parents about it. Her father wasn't surprised. "Baby, I'm sorry this happened to you," he said. "But you did the right thing filing that complaint." Her mother was more worried. "Just be careful, Destiny. Sometimes when you go against the police, they make your life harder." Destiny knew her mother was right to be concerned, but she also knew she couldn't stay silent. A week passed with no word from the police department. Then 2 weeks. Destiny called several times to check on her public records request. Each time she was told they were working on it and to be patient. Finally, Destiny decided she needed help. She couldn't fight this battle alone. She started researching civil rights attorneys online. Most of them wanted money up front, money she didn't have. But she kept looking. She found a lawyer named Jennifer Torres who worked for a nonprofit legal organization. The organization helped people who couldn't afford lawyers but had legitimate civil rights cases. Destiny sent them an email explaining what happened. 3 days later, she got a call. It was Jennifer Torres herself. "Ms. Johnson, I read your email about your traffic stop," Jennifer said. "I'd like to hear more details if you have time to talk." Destiny told her everything. Jennifer listened carefully, asking questions here and there. When Destiny finished, there was a pause. "This sounds like a clear case of racial profiling," Jennifer said. "The fact that you requested the body cam footage is good. That footage could be very important. I'd like to help you with this case." Destiny felt hope for the first time since the incident. "Really? You'll take my case?" "Yes, our organization doesn't charge fees. We take cases like yours because we believe in holding law enforcement accountable. I'm going to send a letter to the police department expediting your records request. Sometimes when they know a lawyer's involved, things move faster." "Thank you so much," Destiny said, feeling emotional. "I just want people to know what really happened. I want there to be consequences." "I understand," Jennifer said, "but I need you to be prepared. These cases aren't easy. The police department will defend their officer. They might try to make you look bad. Are you ready for that?" Destiny thought about it for a moment. Was she ready? This could get ugly. It could be stressful and painful. But then she thought about that night, standing on the side of the road while that officer treated her like she was nothing. She thought about how many other people he might have done this to. "Yes," she said firmly. "I'm ready." Jennifer sent the letter that same day. In it, she formally requested the body cam footage and noted that any delays would be seen as obstruction. She also mentioned that they were considering a federal civil rights lawsuit. 2 days later, Destiny got a call from Sergeant Williams. His tone was different now, more serious. "Ms. Johnson, your records request has been approved. The footage will be ready for pickup in 3 days. Just like that, the 30-day wait had been reduced to 3 days. Jennifer had been right. Having a lawyer made all the difference. Destiny marked those 3 days on her calendar. She was nervous about what the footage would show, but also eager. Finally, she would have proof of what really happened that night. The 3 days felt like forever to Destiny. She kept checking her phone, hoping for an update. She had trouble focusing at work. Her coworkers noticed something was wrong. "You okay, Des?" asked her friend Rachel during their lunch break. Rachel was another nurse who had worked with Destiny for 2 years. Destiny wasn't sure how much to share.
I got pulled over last week.
It didn't go well. Rachel's face showed concern. What happened? Destiny told her the basic story. She watched Rachel's expression change from concern to anger. That's terrible, Rachel said. Did you report it? Yeah. I filed a complaint and got a lawyer. I'm supposed to pick up the body cam footage tomorrow. Good for you, Rachel said. Most people wouldn't have the courage to fight back. That word stuck with Destiny. Courage. She didn't feel particularly brave. She just felt like she couldn't let it go. Like if she stayed silent, she would be betraying herself. The next day, Destiny met Jennifer at the police station. Having the lawyer there made her feel more confident. They walked in together, and this time, people paid attention. Sergeant Williams came out to meet them. He looked uncomfortable. Ms. Torres, Ms. Johnson, he said, nodding to both of them. I have the footage ready, but I need you both to sign some paperwork first. What kind of paperwork? Jennifer asked. Just standard forms saying you received the footage and agreeing not to share it publicly, without notifying the department first. Jennifer read through the forms carefully. This clause about notifying the department is not standard. We won't sign that. The footage is a public record. Ms. Johnson has every right to share it as she sees fit. Sergeant Williams shifted on his feet. I'll have to check with my supervisor. He disappeared for 15 minutes. When he came back, he had different forms. These should be acceptable, he said. Jennifer reviewed them and nodded. These are fine. Both she and Destiny signed. Sergeant Williams handed them a USB drive. Everything from that night is on here. The entire shift from that officer's body cam, actually. We included extra footage to show full context. Thank you, Jennifer said professionally. She and Destiny left the station together. In Jennifer's car, they sat in the parking lot. Do you want to watch it now? Jennifer asked. Or would you prefer to go to my office? Let's go to your office, Destiny said. She wasn't sure she could handle watching it alone in a car. Jennifer's office was small but comfortable. She had a nice computer setup where they could watch the footage clearly. She plugged in the USB drive and opened the files. Ready? Jennifer asked. Destiny took a deep breath. Ready. The video started with the officer sitting in his patrol car. The timestamp showed it was earlier in the evening before he had pulled Destiny over. They could hear him talking on his radio, responding to calls. Everything seemed normal. Then the footage jumped to the traffic stop. Destiny saw her car on the screen, saw herself in the driver's seat. The angle was from the officer's chest so they could see everything he saw. Watching it from this perspective was strange. Destiny heard her own voice saying, "Good evening, officer. May I ask why you pulled me over?" Then she heard the officer's response. But this time she could hear something she hadn't heard that night. Before he answered her, he muttered something under his breath. The words were quiet but clear on the audio recording. Another one from the hood thinking she's special. Destiny's mouth fell open. Did you hear that? She asked Jennifer. Jennifer nodded, her face serious. I heard it. Keep watching. They continued watching. The officer was rude to Destiny on camera, but the audio picked up even more. Every time he walked away from her car, he made comments. Comments about her neighborhood. Comments about her race. Comments that were meant to be private, but were captured by his own body cam. When the second officer arrived, the two of them talked while standing near the patrol car. Destiny's car was far enough away that she hadn't been able to hear their conversation that night. But the body cam caught it all. Another welfare queen with a car she probably didn't pay for, the first officer said to his partner. The younger officer didn't respond, but he didn't object either. He just stood there. I'm gonna search it, the first officer continued. Probably got drugs in there. They always do. Destiny felt sick watching this. She had known the officer was racist, but hearing it so clearly was different. It was proof. Undeniable proof. The footage continued. They watched the officer search her car, throwing her belongings around. They watched him find nothing. And then, after Destiny drove away, the video kept recording. The first officer got back in his car with his partner, and this is where things got even worse. Did you see her face? The first officer laughed. Thought she was so smart with her nursing scrubs and her attitude. I put her in her place real quick, the younger officer made an uncomfortable sound but said nothing. These people move into decent neighborhoods and think they're better than everyone else, the first officer continued. Someone needs to remind them where they come from. Then he used a racial slur. It was clear and unmistakable. Destiny closed her eyes when she heard it. Even though she had experienced racism before, hearing it stated so plainly was painful. The video continued for a few more minutes, but Jennifer paused it. "I've seen enough," she said quietly. "Destiny, this footage is damning. This officer didn't just treat you unfairly. He violated your civil rights. His own body cam proves it." Destiny was crying now, not from sadness, but from anger and validation. "So I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting." "No, you absolutely were not," Jennifer said firmly. "What happened to you was wrong. And now we have evidence. Clear, undeniable evidence. What do we do now?" Destiny asked. Jennifer thought for a moment. "We have a few options. We can share this footage with the police department's internal affairs and hope they take action. But honestly, I don't have much faith in that process. They tend to protect their own. What's the other option? We go public. We hold a press conference, release portions of this footage to the media, and put pressure on the department from the outside. We also file a federal lawsuit for violation of your civil rights." Destiny felt scared at the thought of going public. "Won't that make things harder for me? What if people come after me?" "That's a real possibility," Jennifer admitted. "Once this goes public, you'll be in the spotlight. Some people will support you, but others will attack you. They'll try to find anything in your past to use against you. They'll say you're doing this for money or attention. It won't be easy, but if we don't go public, nothing changes, right?" Destiny said. "He keeps his job and keeps doing this to other people." "Probably," Jennifer said honestly. Destiny thought about all the times she had seen videos of police misconduct online. She had always wondered why people went public, knowing the backlash they would face. Now she understood. Sometimes staying silent felt worse than speaking up. "Let's do it," Destiny said. "Let's go public. But I want to watch the whole video first, all of it. I need to know exactly what we're dealing with." They spent the next hour watching the entire footage. Every minute was painful. Every racist comment cut deep. But by the end, Destiny felt something she hadn't felt in days. She felt powerful. This officer thought he was protected by his badge and his position. He thought he could treat people however he wanted with no consequences. His body cam was supposed to protect him, to show he was doing his job correctly. Instead, it had captured his own hatred and prejudice. He recorded his own downfall, Destiny said softly. Jennifer smiled. Yes, he did. They started planning the press conference for the following week. Jennifer would contact local media outlets and civil rights organizations. They would prepare a statement explaining what happened and why they were coming forward. They would release edited portions of the body cam footage that showed the officer's misconduct without violating any privacy laws. Before Destiny left Jennifer's office that day, the lawyer gave her some advice. The next few weeks are going to be hard. Really hard. Make sure you have people around you who support you. Don't read all the comments online. Take care of your mental health. And remember why you're doing this. I'll remember, Destiny promised. The week before the press conference was the longest of Destiny's life. She went to work like normal, but everything felt different. She was carrying this huge secret, this proof of what had happened to her. Every time she saw someone in uniform, her heart would race. She told her parents what she was planning to do. Her mother cried, "Baby, I'm so proud of you, but I'm scared too. What if something happens to you?" "Mom, I have to do this," Destiny said. "If I don't, he wins, and he'll keep hurting people." Her father was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "Your grandfather marched with Dr. King back in the 60s. He faced police dogs and water hoses. He did it so you could have a better life. I think he'd be proud of what you're doing." That made Destiny cry. She wasn't trying to be a hero. She was just trying to do what was right. Jennifer worked hard to prepare for the press conference. She contacted several news outlets. She reached out to civil rights organizations. She prepared legal documents for the federal lawsuit they would file. Everything had to be perfect. 2 days before the press conference, Jennifer called Destiny. "I want to show you something," she said. "Can you come to my office?" When Destiny arrived, Jennifer had her computer screen showing social media posts. "I've been doing research on the officer who pulled you over. His name is Officer James Riley, and I found something interesting." She showed Destiny several posts from other people in the community, people talking about their own experiences with Officer Riley. A black teenager who said Riley had stopped him 5 times in 1 month. A Hispanic woman who said Riley had made racist comments during a traffic stop. An elderly black man who said Riley had thrown his medication on the ground during a search. How many people has he done this to? Destiny asked, feeling sick. Based on what I'm finding, probably dozens. Maybe more. But most people didn't report it. They felt like no one would believe them. That's exactly how I felt at first, Destiny said. Jennifer nodded. I've reached out to some of these people. A few of them are willing to come forward publicly after they see your press conference. They want to support you and share their stories too. Really? Destiny felt less alone knowing others had gone through similar experiences. Yes. You're not just standing up for yourself, Destiny. You're standing up for everyone he's hurt. That's powerful. The night before the press conference, Destiny couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what she would say. Jennifer had helped her write a statement, but it had to come from her heart. It had to be real. She thought about that night on the side of the road. The fear she had felt. The humiliation. The anger. She thought about how many other people had felt that same way because of Officer Riley. She thought about the young black boys who might get pulled over by him in the future. The morning of the press conference, Destiny put on her best outfit. A simple blue dress that made her look professional and serious. She did her makeup carefully, not too much, but enough to look put together. She wanted people to take her seriously. Jennifer picked her up at her apartment. You ready? The lawyer asked. As ready as I'll ever be, Destiny replied. The press conference was being held at a community center in Destiny's neighborhood. When they arrived, Destiny was shocked to see how many people were there. News cameras were set up. Reporters were everywhere. Community members had come to show support. There were at least 50 people in the room. Jennifer had invited several other people to speak as well. A local pastor, a representative from the NAACP, a city council member who had been pushing for police reform. They would all speak before Destiny. The press conference started at 10 in the morning. The pastor spoke first, talking about justice and accountability. The NAACP representative talked about the long history of racial profiling in law enforcement. The city council member talked about the need for change. Then it was Destiny's turn. She walked up to the microphone, her hands shaking. She looked out at all the faces staring at her. Cameras recording every word she was about to say. This was it. No going back now. My name is Destiny Johnson, she began, her voice stronger than she expected. 3 weeks ago, I was pulled over by a police officer for supposedly not using my turn signal. What should have been a simple traffic stop turned into a nightmare. She told her story. She told it clearly and calmly, sticking to the facts. She described how Officer Riley had treated her, how he had searched her car without real cause, how he had made her feel like a criminal for driving while black. For a long time, I wondered if I was overreacting, Destiny continued. I wondered if maybe I had misunderstood. But then I saw the Bodycam footage. Officer Riley's own camera recorded everything. And what it shows is undeniable proof of racism, harassment, and abuse of power. Jennifer stepped forward and played portions of the footage on a large screen. The room went completely silent as people watched. They heard Officer Riley's racist comments. They heard him laughing about putting Destiny in her place. They heard him use a racial slur. Several people in the room gasped. A few people started crying. Destiny watched the reporters taking notes furiously, their faces showing shock and anger. When the video ended, Destiny spoke again. This is not just about me. After I came forward, other people contacted me. Other people who Officer Riley has treated the same way. People who were too afraid to speak up because they thought no one would believe them. Well, I believe them, and I hope you do too. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for attention. I'm doing this because what happened to me was wrong, and it needs to stop. Officer Riley should not be allowed to wear a badge and carry a gun. He should not have power over anyone. His own bodycam footage proves that he is not fit to serve and protect. I'm asking the police department to fire Officer Riley immediately. I'm asking the district attorney to file criminal charges against him. And I'm asking my community to stand with me in demanding accountability and change. The room erupted in applause. People were standing up, clapping and cheering. Destiny felt tears running down her face, but she didn't wipe them away. Let them see her emotion. Let them see her pain and her strength. After her speech, Jennifer opened the floor for questions from reporters. The questions came fast. Ms. Johnson, what do you say to people who might claim you're doing this for a settlement? I say they're wrong. No amount of money can undo what happened to me. I want justice, not a paycheck. Do you think Officer Riley should face criminal charges? Absolutely. He violated my civil rights. He abused his power. There should be consequences. Are you afraid of retaliation? Yes, Destiny answered honestly. I'm terrified, but I'm more afraid of staying silent. The press conference lasted about an hour. When it was over, several community members came up to hug Destiny and thank her for her courage. A few people handed her their phone numbers, saying they had stories to share about Officer Riley too. As they were packing up to leave, Jennifer pulled Destiny aside. That was perfect, she said. You were amazing. What happens now? Destiny asked. Now we wait and see how the police department responds. But I can tell you this video is about to go viral. By tonight, the whole country will know Officer Riley's name. Jennifer was right. Within hours, the Bodycam footage was everywhere. It was on the local news. It was on national news. It was all over social media. People were sharing it, commenting on it, expressing their outrage. Destiny's phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications. Friends and strangers were messaging her support. News outlets were requesting interviews. The hashtag Justice for Destiny started trending on Twitter. But not all the attention was positive. Some people defended Officer Riley. Some people said Destiny must have done something to deserve that treatment. Some people sent her hateful messages, calling her names and telling her she was lying. That evening, the police department released a statement. We are aware of the video that has been shared publicly. The officer in question has been placed on administrative leave pending a full investigation. We take these allegations very seriously and are committed to transparency and accountability. Administrative leave. Not fired, not arrested. Just administrative leave, which probably meant he was sitting at home getting paid while they figured out what to do. Destiny felt disappointed but not surprised. She knew real change would take time, but at least now people knew the truth. Officer Riley's own body cam had exposed him. He couldn't deny it. He couldn't explain it away. The evidence was clear. That night, Destiny lay in bed exhausted but unable to sleep. Her phone kept buzzing. She finally turned it off and just lay there in the dark, thinking about everything that had happened. 3 weeks ago, she had been just another person driving home from work. Now she was at the center of a national conversation about police racism and accountability. It was overwhelming and scary, but it also felt right. She thought about Officer Riley watching the news, seeing his own words played back for everyone to hear. She hoped he felt ashamed. She hoped he understood that his actions had consequences. The morning after the press conference, Destiny woke up to discover her life had completely changed. Her face was everywhere. The video had been viewed millions of times. News shows were discussing her case. People she had never met were debating what happened to her. She made the mistake of checking social media. The support was overwhelming, but so was the hate. For every message telling her she was brave, there was another calling her terrible names. People said she was looking for attention. They said she was trying to get rich from a lawsuit. They said she probably deserved what happened. The worst comments came from people defending Officer Riley. They said he was just doing his job. They said Destiny was making it about race when it wasn't. They said one bad moment shouldn't ruin his entire career. One bad moment? Destiny said out loud to her empty apartment. He was racist for the entire stop, and he's been doing it to people for years. Her mother called, worried. Baby, are you okay? I'm seeing terrible things people are saying about you online. I'm okay, Mom, Destiny lied. She wasn't okay. The hate was getting to her, but she didn't want her mother to worry. Maybe you should stay with us for a few days, her mother suggested. I don't like you being alone right now. I'll think about it, Destiny said. When she went to work that afternoon, things felt different. Some of her co-workers looked at her with admiration. Others seemed uncomfortable, like they didn't know what to say. A few avoided her completely. During her lunch break, her supervisor called her into the office. Destiny's heart sank. Was she in trouble? Destiny, I want you to know that the hospital supports you, her supervisor said. What you're doing takes courage. But I need to ask, are you doing okay? This must be incredibly stressful. I'm managing, Destiny said. If you need to take some time off, we can arrange that. No questions asked, Destiny thought about it. Part of her wanted to hide away until all of this was over, but another part knew that would send the wrong message. Thank you, but I want to keep working. Work is the one normal thing I have right now. Her supervisor nodded. Okay, but if you change your mind, just let me know. And if anyone here gives you a hard time about this, you tell me immediately. That made Destiny feel better. At least she had support at work, but the stress was everywhere else. That evening, Destiny noticed a car parked across the street from her apartment building. It was there when she got home from work. It was still there hours later. She couldn't see who was inside because of the tinted windows. She called Jennifer. There's a car outside my building. It's been there for hours. I think someone is watching me. Have you called the police? Jennifer asked. Destiny laughed bitterly. And say what? That I don't trust the police after one of their officers racially profiled me? That'll go over well. You're right, Jennifer said with a sigh. Look, I'm going to have someone check on you. A private investigator I work with. He'll make sure you're safe. Is this really necessary? Destiny asked, though she already knew the answer. Yes. When people go up against the police, sometimes there's retaliation. Not always official retaliation, but intimidation tactics. I want to make sure you're protected. The car was gone by the time Jennifer's investigator arrived, but it came back the next day, and the day after that. Always the same car, always parked where they could see Destiny's building. Jennifer filed a formal complaint with the police department about the surveillance. The response was that no officers had been assigned to watch Destiny's residence. If someone was there, it wasn't official police business. That somehow made it worse. Meanwhile, the media attention kept growing. National news networks wanted to interview Destiny. Podcasts wanted her to tell her story. She said yes to a few interviews but turned down most. She didn't want this to become about her being famous. She wanted it to be about justice. During one television interview, the host asked her a tough question. Some people are saying you're trying to destroy an officer's career over one mistake. What do you say to that? Destiny looked directly at the camera. This wasn't one mistake. The Bodycam footage shows clear racism and abuse of power. And since I came forward, 7 other people have contacted me with similar stories about the same officer. 7 people. How many mistakes does someone get to make before there are consequences? The interview clip went viral. The phrase "how many mistakes" became a rallying cry on social media. People started sharing their own stories of police misconduct under that hashtag. A week after the press conference, protests began outside the police station. They started small, just a dozen people with signs. But they grew every day. Community members, activists, and people from other cities came to demand Officer Riley be fired and charged. The protests were peaceful, but they were loud. They disrupted the normal business of the police station. News cameras were there every day, interviewing protesters and broadcasting the demonstrations. The police union responded by holding their own press conference. The union president stood at a podium with several officers behind him, all in uniform. Officer Riley is a dedicated public servant with 15 years of exemplary service, the union president said. This rush to judgment based on a few moments taken out of context is unfair and dangerous. We ask the community to let the investigation proceed without pressure or prejudice. Destiny watched the press conference on the news and felt her blood boil. Out of context? The Bodycam showed the full context. There was nothing ambiguous about what happened. Jennifer called her immediately after. Don't let them get to you. This is their standard playbook. They defend the officer, attack the victim, and hope public attention dies down. What victim are they attacking? Destiny asked. Me? Just wait, it's coming. Jennifer was right. The next day, a local news website published an article about Destiny. It mentioned that she had gotten a speeding ticket when she was 19. It mentioned that she had been to a protest against police brutality 2 years ago. It even included her address and information about where she worked. The article tried to paint her as someone with an agenda against police, as if that somehow justified what Officer Riley had done to her. Destiny felt violated all over again. They were digging into her life, trying to find anything to use against her. The speeding ticket from 5 years ago, that was their evidence that she wasn't a perfect victim. This is what I warned you about, Jennifer said when they spoke. They're trying to discredit you. They want people to think you're biased against police so your complaint seems less legitimate. But I got one speeding ticket 5 years ago. Everyone gets tickets sometimes. How does that make me anti-police? It doesn't, but they're desperate. The bodycam footage is so damning that they can't defend Riley's actions, so they attack your character instead. More articles came out, more digging into Destiny's past. They found photos from her college days where she was at parties. They interviewed her ex-boyfriend, who had nothing but nice things to say, but that didn't stop them from asking leading questions trying to get him to say something negative. The stress was taking its toll. Destiny wasn't sleeping well. She had stopped checking social media entirely because the comments were too hurtful. She felt like she was under a microscope, with every part of her life being examined and judged. Her friends rallied around her. Maya came over almost every night, bringing food and just sitting with her. Rachel checked on her at work constantly. Her parents called twice a day. "I don't know if I can keep doing this," Destiny admitted to Maya one night. "It's too much. Everyone has an opinion about me. Half the country thinks I'm a hero and the other half thinks I'm a liar looking for money." "You can stop anytime you want," Maya said gently. "No one would blame you. But if I stop, he wins. And nothing changes. Then you have your answer," Maya said. "You keep going because you're stronger than he is." A month after the press conference, there was finally movement on the case. The police department announced that Officer Riley would face a disciplinary hearing. It wasn't a trial, just an internal review, but it was something. At the same time, Jennifer filed the federal civil rights lawsuit. The lawsuit named both Officer Riley and the police department. It claimed that Riley had violated Destiny's 4th and 14th Amendment rights and that the department had failed to properly train and supervise him. "This lawsuit will take months. Maybe years," Jennifer warned. "But it's an important step. It puts legal pressure on them." The FBI also announced they were opening an investigation into whether Officer Riley had violated federal civil rights laws. That was huge. Federal charges carried serious penalties. Destiny felt hopeful for the first time in weeks. Real consequences were possible. The system was slow and frustrating, but it was moving forward. But the pushback intensified too. Someone leaked Destiny's phone number online and she started getting threatening calls and messages. Someone spray-painted her car. The police investigated but found no leads. "This is what they want," Jennifer told her. "They want to scare you into dropping everything and going away. You have to decide if you're strong enough to see this through." Destiny looked at the spray paint on her car. Racist words in bright red. She took a photo of it. Not to post online, but to remind herself why she was fighting. This hatred, this ugliness existed, and people like Officer Riley enabled it. "I'm strong enough," Destiny said. 2 months after the press conference, Destiny's life had become something she barely recognized. She couldn't go anywhere without being recognized. People stopped her in grocery stores to tell her they supported her. Others glared at her or made rude comments under their breath. The threatening messages continued. Some days she got dozens of them. They came through email, through social media, through texts to her phone number that had somehow been made public. Most were just words, angry and hateful. But some were specific threats. Threats about where she lived, where she worked, what would happen to her. She reported the threats to the police, which felt ironic. The same department she was fighting against was supposed to protect her from people angry about her fighting them. The detective assigned to her case seemed sympathetic, but told her there wasn't much they could do unless someone acted on the threats. "So I have to wait until someone actually hurts me?" Destiny asked. The detective looked uncomfortable. "We're taking this seriously, Ms. Johnson. We've increased patrols in your area." But Destiny noticed those patrol cars seemed to spend more time watching her than protecting her. It felt like surveillance, not security. She started staying with her parents most nights. Her apartment felt unsafe. Every noise made her jump. Every car that slowed down near her building made her heart race. She hated feeling this way. Hated that speaking up had turned her into someone constantly looking over her shoulder. Work became difficult too. The hospital administration still supported her publicly, but she could tell some people wished she would just go away. A few patients requested different nurses when they found out who she was. One family complained that they didn't want someone controversial taking care of their loved one. Her supervisor defended her every time. "Your personal life doesn't affect your ability to do your job. Anyone who has a problem with that can deal with me." But Destiny could see the strain it was causing. Meanwhile, the police union was fighting back hard. They hired expensive lawyers and a public relations firm. Suddenly, stories started appearing in the news about Officer Riley. Stories about the time he helped a lost child find their parents. Stories about the charity work he did. stories painting him as a good man who made one mistake. They found people to speak on his behalf, fellow officers who said he was a great guy, community members who said he had helped them. His wife gave an interview crying about how this situation was destroying their family. "My husband is not a racist," she said on television. "He's being judged for a few words said in a stressful moment. He's dedicated his life to serving this community. This witch hunt is destroying him." Destiny watched the interview with her mother. "Stressful moment," she said. He was the one causing the stress, and it wasn't a few words. It was a pattern of behavior. Her mother squeezed her hand. "People will believe what they want to believe, baby. But the truth is on your side." The disciplinary hearing for Officer Riley was scheduled for 3 months after the incident. It would be held inside the police department, behind closed doors. Only the review board, Riley and his lawyer, and essential witnesses would be allowed inside. Jennifer fought to have the hearing open to the public, but the police department refused. "This is an internal matter," they said. "Opening it to the public would violate the officer's privacy and due process rights." "What about my rights?" Destiny asked Jennifer. "Don't I get due process?" "You'll get your day in court when our federal lawsuit proceeds," Jennifer assured her. "But yes, it's frustrating that he gets privacy while you were exposed to the whole world." A week before the hearing, something happened that changed everything. A young black man named Timothy was pulled over by Officer Riley. Despite everything that had happened, despite being on administrative leave, Officer Riley had been allowed to return to patrol duty. Timothy knew who Officer Riley was. Everyone in the community knew by now. So Timothy immediately started recording on his phone. The whole interaction was captured on video. Officer Riley was aggressive from the start. He claimed Timothy was driving suspiciously, though Timothy had done nothing wrong. He ordered Timothy out of the car, searched him roughly, and made several comments that were clearly racial in nature. But this time Officer Riley knew he was being recorded. He was more careful with his words. He didn't use slurs. He didn't make obvious racist statements, but his actions spoke loudly enough. Timothy posted the video online and it went viral immediately. People were outraged that Officer Riley was back on the streets. Protests outside the police station doubled in size. The hashtag Fire Riley trended nationally. "This proves he hasn't changed," Destiny said when she saw the video. "They gave him another chance and he did the exact same thing." The police department was forced to respond. They put Officer Riley back on administrative leave and moved up the disciplinary hearing. Jennifer called with news. "The department wants to settle your lawsuit. They're offering money if you'll agree to drop the complaint and sign a non-disclosure agreement." "How much money?" Destiny asked, though she already knew her answer. $250,000. It's a significant amount. "And I'd have to stay quiet about what happened?" "Yes. You couldn't talk about the case publicly. You couldn't discuss the settlement. Essentially, you'd have to pretend none of this happened." Destiny didn't even need to think about it. "No, I don't want their money if it means staying silent." "That's exactly what they want." "They want to pay me to go away." "I thought you'd say that," Jennifer said, and Destiny could hear the pride in her voice. "But I had to present the offer to you. It's my job, I understand. Tell them no. They're not going to be happy. They'll probably get more aggressive in fighting the lawsuit." "Let them," Destiny said. "I'm not backing down." The next few weeks were brutal. The police department's lawyers started deposing everyone connected to Destiny. They questioned her friends, her co-workers, her ex-boyfriends. They were looking for anything they could use to make her seem unreliable or biased. They subpoenaed her medical records, claiming they needed to see if she had any mental health issues that might affect her credibility. Jennifer fought the subpoena, but it still felt like an invasion. "They're trying to wear you down," Jennifer explained. "They want you to get so tired of fighting that you give up." Destiny was tired. She was exhausted, actually. The constant stress was affecting her health. She wasn't sleeping well. She had lost weight. She found herself crying at random moments, but she wasn't giving up. The other people who had come forward with stories about Officer Riley were facing similar treatment. 2 of them decided to drop their complaints, saying the stress wasn't worth it. Destiny understood. She didn't judge them. Not everyone could handle this kind of pressure, but their withdrawal was used against Destiny. "See," the police union said, "these accusations fall apart under scrutiny. People make claims but can't back them up." Maya came over one night and found Destiny sitting on her parents' couch staring at nothing. "Hey," Maya said softly. You okay? I'm so tired, Maya, Destiny admitted. Some days I wish I had never filed that complaint. My life was so much simpler before. But it wouldn't have been right, Maya said. You did what was right even though it was hard. What if nothing changes, though? What if I'm going through all this and Officer Riley keeps his job and everything stays the same? Then at least you tried, Maya said. At least you didn't stay silent. And you've already inspired other people to speak up. That's something. The disciplinary hearing finally happened on a cold Tuesday morning. Destiny wasn't allowed inside, but she and about 100 supporters gathered outside the police station. They held signs and chanted. News cameras captured everything. Jennifer went inside to observe as Destiny's attorney. She was gone for 6 hours. When she finally came out, her face was hard to read. Well? Destiny asked anxiously. They're going to make a decision in 2 weeks, Jennifer said. The board will review everything and announce their ruling. How did it seem to go? Jennifer hesitated. Honestly? Hard to say. They asked tough questions to both sides. Some board members seemed sympathetic to you. Others seemed more focused on protecting Riley. It could go either way. 2 weeks felt like forever. Destiny tried to focus on work, on her normal life. But she couldn't stop thinking about the hearing. Her entire fight came down to this decision by a board of police officers judging one of their own. During those 2 weeks, something unexpected happened. The FBI finished their investigation and announced they were filing federal charges against Officer Riley. Charges of civil rights violations and deprivation of rights under color of law. This was huge. Federal charges were serious. They came with potential prison time, not just losing his job. The news seemed to shift something in the public conversation. Even people who had defended Riley started questioning their position. If federal prosecutors thought there was enough evidence to charge him, maybe the Bodycam footage really was as bad as Destiny said. Finally, after 2 weeks that felt like 2 years, the police department announced their decision. They were holding a press conference at 2 p.m. Destiny, Jennifer, and her parents all gathered in Jennifer's office to watch on television. Destiny's hands were shaking. This was it. This would determine whether all her fighting had meant anything. The police chief stood at a podium, looking serious. After a thorough review of all evidence and testimony, the disciplinary board has made their decision regarding Officer James Riley. The room went silent. Effective immediately, Officer James Riley is terminated from the police department. The board found that his conduct violated department policies on professional standards, equal protection, and community trust. His behavior, as documented on Bodycam footage and through witness testimony, is incompatible with our mission to serve and protect all members of our community. Destiny couldn't breathe. Fired. They actually fired him. Additionally, the chief continued, we will be implementing new training requirements on implicit bias, de-escalation, and accountability. We will be reviewing our Bodycam policies to ensure footage is preserved and reviewed more consistently, and we will be establishing a civilian review board to provide oversight on complaints of officer misconduct. Destiny started crying. Her mother hugged her. Her father's eyes were wet with tears too. Jennifer was smiling broader than Destiny had ever seen. You did it, Jennifer said. You actually did it. But Destiny knew it wasn't over. The federal charges still had to go to trial. The civil lawsuit was still pending. There was still more fighting to do. But in this moment, she let herself feel the victory. Officer Riley had been fired. His own Bodycam had brought him down. Justice, real justice, was possible after all. The news of Officer Riley's firing spread quickly. Within minutes, Destiny's phone was flooded with messages. Some were congratulations. Some were angry. Some were from reporters wanting her reaction. She turned off her phone and just sat with her family for a while. They ordered pizza and celebrated quietly. For the first time in months, Destiny felt like she could breathe. I'm so proud of you, her father said, hugging her tight. You stood up when it would have been easier to stay quiet. I couldn't have done it without you guys, Destiny said. And Jennifer. And everyone who supported me. But even in celebration, Destiny knew the fight wasn't completely over. The federal criminal case was still pending. Officer Riley had been fired, but he hadn't been convicted of a crime yet. The trial was scheduled for 6 months later. It was moved to federal court, which meant a jury would decide if Riley had violated federal civil rights laws. If convicted, he could face years in prison. Jennifer prepared Destiny for what testifying would be like. His lawyers will try to discredit you. They'll ask personal questions. They'll try to make you seem emotional or biased. You need to stay calm and stick to the facts. I can do that, Destiny said, though the thought terrified her. In the months leading up to the trial, the police department began implementing the reforms they had promised. They started new training programs on racial bias and de-escalation. They established the Civilian Review Board to investigate complaints. They updated their Bodycam policies to require more oversight. Destiny was invited to speak at one of the training sessions. Standing in front of a room full of police officers was surreal. Some looked at her with respect, others with resentment. "I don't hate police officers," she told them. "My uncle is a cop in another state. I know most of you do this job because you want to help people, but there are people like Officer Riley who abuse their power. And when good officers stay silent about bad officers, it makes everyone less safe." She talked about her experience, about how scared she had been, about how one officer's racism had changed her entire life. When you put on that uniform, you have power over people. With that power comes responsibility. The body cam on your chest isn't just to protect you, it's to protect the people you serve. The training coordinator told her later that her speech had a real impact. Several officers approached her afterward to apologize for how she had been treated and to promise to do better. It was a small step, but it meant something. The trial began on a Monday morning in late summer, almost a year after the original traffic stop. The courthouse was packed with people, supporters of Destiny on one side, supporters of Officer Riley on the other. Destiny wore a simple gray suit. She wanted to look professional and credible. Jennifer had coached her on everything from how to sit to how to answer questions. The prosecution presented their case first. They showed the body cam footage to the jury. Every racist comment, every abuse of power, everything that Destiny had experienced was played for 12 strangers to judge. Several jury members looked uncomfortable watching it. One woman shook her head in disgust. That gave Destiny hope. When it was Destiny's turn to testify, she walked to the witness stand with her head held high. She placed her hand on the Bible and swore to tell the truth. Then she sat down and looked at the jury. The prosecutor asked her to describe what happened that night. Destiny told her story calmly and clearly. She didn't exaggerate. She didn't get emotional. She just stated the facts. Then it was the defense attorney's turn to cross-examine her. He was exactly what Jennifer had warned her about. He tried to twist her words. He asked about the speeding ticket from years ago, implying she had a problem with authority. He asked if she had any financial problems that might motivate her to sue. "I didn't sue for money," Destiny said firmly. "I filed a complaint because what Officer Riley did was wrong. But you are suing the police department civilly, correct? For monetary damages?" "Yes, to hold them accountable. But this criminal trial isn't about money. It's about justice." The defense attorney tried several more angles, but Destiny didn't crack. She stayed calm and consistent. When he finally dismissed her, she walked back to her seat feeling proud of how she had handled herself. The trial lasted 2 weeks. Expert witnesses testified about racial profiling and police misconduct. Other people who had negative experiences with Officer Riley testified too. The defense brought character witnesses who said Riley was a good person who made a mistake. Officer Riley himself testified. He admitted that his language on the body cam was inappropriate, but he claimed it didn't reflect his true beliefs. "I was having a bad day," he said. "I said things I shouldn't have said, but I'm not a racist." The prosecutor challenged him. "You didn't just say inappropriate things, Officer Riley. You treated Ms. Johnson differently because of her race. You searched her car without real cause. You humiliated her. How is that just having a bad day?" Riley didn't have a good answer. When both sides rested their cases, the jury deliberated for 3 days. Those were the longest 3 days of Destiny's life. She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. She just waited. Finally, the jury reached a verdict. Everyone gathered back in the courtroom. Destiny sat between Jennifer and her parents, holding her mother's hand. "Has the jury reached a verdict?" the judge asked. "We have, Your Honor," the jury foreman said. "On the charge of deprivation of rights under color of law, how do you find the defendant?" "Guilty." "On the charge of civil rights violations, how do you find the defendant?" "Guilty." The courtroom erupted. Destiny burst into tears. Her mother was crying. Her father was hugging both of them. Jennifer was smiling and wiping her own eyes. Officer Riley sat at the defense table, his face pale and shocked. His wife was crying in the gallery. The judge banged his gavel for order. "The defendant will be sentenced in 6 weeks. Until then, he will remain free on bond." 6 weeks later, Destiny returned to court for sentencing. The judge gave a powerful statement before announcing the sentence. "Officer Riley, you held a position of trust and authority. You were given a badge and a gun and the power to enforce laws. You abused that power. You treated people differently because of their race. You violated the constitutional rights of citizens you were sworn to protect. This court cannot and will not tolerate such behavior." He sentenced Officer Riley to 3 years in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. It wasn't the maximum sentence, but it was significant. A police officer was actually going to prison for civil rights violations. The civil lawsuit against the police department was settled a month later. The department agreed to pay Destiny $400,000. More importantly, they agreed to continue the reforms they had started. The Civilian Review Board became permanent. The training programs were expanded. Bodycam footage would be reviewed regularly by supervisors. Destiny didn't keep all the settlement money for herself. She used $200,000 to establish a legal defense fund for other people facing police misconduct. The fund would help people who couldn't afford lawyers get representation when filing complaints or lawsuits. This happened to me. But I had resources, Destiny explained at the press conference announcing the fund. "I had a lawyer who worked for free. I had family support. I had community support. Not everyone has that. This fund will help level the playing field." The fund was named the Justice Through Accountability Legal Fund. Within the first month, they received over 50 applications from people seeking help with police misconduct cases. A year after the traffic stop that changed her life, Destiny was invited to speak at a national conference on police reform. She stood on a stage in front of hundreds of activists, police chiefs, politicians, and community leaders. "A year ago, I was just a nurse driving home from work," she began. "I wasn't an activist. I wasn't trying to change the system. I just wanted to get home safely. But when Officer Riley pulled me over, he changed my life. Not because he pulled me over, but because of how he treated me and because I decided not to stay silent." The body cam that was supposed to protect him became the evidence that held him accountable. His own recording showed the truth. "And while I wish none of this had happened to me, I'm grateful that it led to change. Real, meaningful change." She talked about the reforms in her city, the Civilian Review Board that was actually investigating complaints, the training programs teaching officers about bias, the increased accountability measures that made it harder for bad officers to hide. "Change is possible," she said. "Justice is possible. But only if people speak up. Only if we demand accountability. Only if we refuse to accept that this is just how things are." The audience gave her a standing ovation. Afterward, dozens of people came up to thank her and share their own stories. Some were police officers who wanted to be better. Some were victims of misconduct who were inspired to come forward. Destiny went back to her regular life as much as possible. She still worked as a nurse. She still lived in the same city. But she was different now. She had found her voice. She had learned that one person could make a difference. Sometimes she still had nightmares about that traffic stop. Sometimes she saw a police car and felt her heart race. The trauma didn't just disappear because she had won, but she had won. Against incredible odds, against a powerful system, against people who wanted her to stay quiet, she had won. Officer Riley was in prison. The department had been forced to change. Other officers knew they couldn't act with impunity. And most importantly, other victims of police misconduct saw that speaking up was possible. Destiny thought about all of this on the 1-year anniversary of her traffic stop. She was driving home from work. the same route she had taken that night. When she passed the spot where Officer Riley had pulled her over, she didn't feel fear. She felt pride. She had taken the worst experience of her life and turned it into something meaningful. She had used his own body cam footage, the very tool meant to protect him, to expose the truth. Justice wasn't perfect. The system still had problems. There was still so much work to do. But change had begun, and it had started with one woman who refused to stay silent, who refused to let racism and abuse of power go unchallenged. As Destiny pulled into her parking spot at home, she smiled. She had her life back. But more than that, she had helped make her community safer for everyone. The body cam had told the truth, and the truth had set things right. She got out of her car, locked the door, and walked to her apartment. Tomorrow she would go back to work. She would take care of patients. She would live her life, but she would also continue fighting for justice whenever and wherever she could. Because that's what heroes do. And whether she liked it or not, that's what she had become.